Hello and welcome to the part 2 from my previous video where I promised a massive combination build for the set the ATTE Walker. Now it's taken a little bit for me to make this video, but I finally completed some work and I've gotten all the sets in that are required to build this, and I can't wait to show you. First, let's just get into all the LEGO sets you're going to have to buy to put this thing together. You're going to need a total of 5 LEGO sets, where you're going to have to buy 1 ATTE Walker, 2 Obi-Wan Starfighters, and 2 Republic Fighter Tanks. Now, the total price of all of this isn't very cheap. It's going to be about $280 brand new. Now, I think that price is justifiable, but you can manage to pick up some of these sets used off of Bricklink if you want to for cheaper. Personally, I bought these 3 sets without any minifigures. Now, buying these without any minifigures and without some of the extra pieces did end up kind of hindering the build a little bit. Luckily, I had some filler pieces later on, but it did save me quite a bit of money if you are also interested in that, and you might have some of the extra pieces that I'm going to mention later on down the line. But I did manage to save myself quite a bit of money because rather than spending $280 on everything, I probably spent more about 220 instead of 280, where you could probably get this maybe as low as about 180 if you wanted to, if you bought no minifigures, no extra pieces. And yes, I know you might be getting a little impatient here, but I just need to cover a few smaller things like the small details here, as well as where I got these instructions from. And the instructions cost me about $10.60, or the original price of €10, off of Rebrickable. The instructions were uploaded by an account called The Bricked Cave, and I saw these while looking for the alternative builds for this set from the last video, and I just knew I had to make a video on this as well. Now, the smaller build here is a little minifigure stand you get alongside of it, because you get a lot of minifigures in the sets that you buy with this, and I believe there's enough room to display one of each kind of minifigure from the sets. Now, because I didn't buy any of the tanks new, and I only bought one of the Obi-Wan Starfighters new, I decided not to display any figures on this. I just kind of have it around to show you. And the other smaller modifications on this build here are going to be the handle for the ATTE, which is, you might notice, is definitely different from the original. It is actually made to connect to the build that I'll be showing you later. And this is used to stabilize the build as well. These pieces that are on top of here and the extra pieces that are added to the handle here all come from the sets previously mentioned. And if you know of some other older LEGO Star Wars sets, you might already see where this is going. And finally, getting to the part that you clicked on this video for, the main build, it is a Republic dropship. And I think there's very little to say except for the fact that it simply looks amazing. It utilizes almost all of the pieces with very little pieces left over, and simply is just very sleek. I love how tiled off this is. I love the designs that they managed to add onto here. It still managed to incorporate some play features around the place. And now the cannons also look great. I love those. This is one part right here that I do want to mention, and this is what I was talking about earlier with why you might want to buy these sets new. These pieces here are supposed to be the R4 heads from the Obi-Wan Starfighter sets. Now, if you don't buy those sets brand new, or you don't buy them with the minifigures, you will have to find a replacement piece, and luckily I found one that I thought looked good enough, but that is something to keep in mind. And also, some pieces you might be missing from those sets are these lightsaber handles right here, these sort of chrome lightsaber handles. If you don't have extras of those, which I actually have plenty of, which is why I still managed to build this, but if you didn't have extra of these handles, you might run into that as a problem. And also, one more piece here I need to mention. This is not the original cockpit piece from the Obi-Wan Starfighter. This is actually from the Anakin's Jedi Starfighter that they released some years ago. I just thought it looked better. I'm pretty sure it fits the actual color that is used on the gunship sets, so I decided to use that. Though I do have this one right here to show you alongside it, and as you can tell, it's just a lot clearer, and I think this sort of dimmed shaded one to kind of protect the pilot from all the sunlight that they might be getting just looks a lot nicer. And you might be wondering, how good is this as a playset? I would say not the greatest. It is quite heavy. I don't think you could give this to a child to play with. This is quite heavy. I struggled to pick it up by myself sometimes. You definitely, if you can pick it up one-handed, I wouldn't really suggest it because it is front heavy. I would try to get 2 points of hold on it. And also, there's quite a bit of stress on these legs here. I was kind of worried about it. Like, if you push up on it, you can see how the sort of chassis is flexing on the inside there. So I did build some supports for it that I use, but I'm excluding from this video for review purposes. But it's just quite heavy, and although I would say it is relatively sturdy, there's plenty of pieces here that can just fall off. I'll just go around kind of touching things, showing you what can break. This comes off kind of easily. These come off easily. There's something else under here that comes off quite easily. Like, if you just move your hand a bit, there's something under here that fell off one time while I was picking this up. And of course I'm not going to find it right now. But you know what I mean. It's just not the easiest thing. You also have this part right here that if you're a kid and you're kind of shaking this whole set around, this little spot right here is just gonna rip this front door off, I feel like. And now it's to keep it stable, but it's to keep it stable in like a display. It's not to keep it stable while like some kid is trying to pick this set up and throw it around. Now, I do want to show this. You can, in fact, pick it up like this and have it sort of carry the ATTE. And although that does work, it's, again, very heavy, and it's kind of a struggle to hold it from this spot. There's not a lot of gripping points. My thumb is just kind of barely over the top of this, and the bottom isn't exactly easy to grip onto either, so I've just kind of got my fingers over a little ledge under there, and you can't really see it. But again, I guess all those pieces falling off right there just show you how sort of, although it's stable, there's many things that will fall off, and I wouldn't exactly suggest playing around with this. And just one more quick overview in case you missed all the things that fell off there. The engine from up here fell off, or like the sort of gun engine thing fell off here. One of the front guns fell off because it hit my lampshade. This is actually a piece from the handle, which is like a big problem considering that that's what you're going to be picking this thing up from. Like, look at that. This just fell off, and that makes it a lot less stable now. And I don't know if it actually makes it less stable or not, but it's not fun. And then this little back antenna here fell off. And that's just in case you missed any of that. But let's be honest here, if you're someone like me who's going to spend hundreds of dollars to build something like this, more money than maybe a kid might have for their Christmas Lego, right? And you're going to a site like Rebrickable to buy the instructions, and you're going to Bricklink to buy the sets for cheaper, you're probably not a kid that wants to play with this, and you don't want to know what the perspective of a kid that plays with this is. You want to know what the perspective of somebody who's buying this to display, to put on their shelf, or to army build, or put in a mock. You want to know what that perspective is, and honestly, from my perspective, I think the set is great. Now, one of the things you might not like is how they incorporated the stud shooters here. I think those are fine. You can take them off if you want. There's plenty of pieces to replace them with if you're probably a collector. And honestly, I think this is great. I haven't had too many problems. I've shown you the pieces that tend to fall off, right? But I've built other alternate builds before, and I've built many Lego sets before, and this isn't the most fragile thing I've ever built. It's got its flaws here and there, like the antennas that like to fall off, all this stuff. But as a display set, this looks amazing. It takes up a lot of space, and honestly, even if I wasn't kind of constrained on budget here and I was trying to buy this for cheaper, I would be very willing to buy all of the sets full price so I can put this thing together again. I actually plan by the end of the year to buy all of these sets again and make another one of these. That's my goal right now. I don't know if that will happen, but that's my goal. That's what I want to do because I just love this thing so much. It just looks so good. And now finally, just to wrap the video up here, should you buy the sets involved in this alternate build and should you put it together? Yes. I think this is great. You've already heard me say that many times. I'll put the instructions or the link to the rebrickable page for the instructions down in the description. And with these two videos here that I've made previously, have taken me a lot of work to put together all these sets and take them apart and then put them back together. And I've had a lot of fun filming these things, and I hope you'll stick around. Hit that subscribe button, hit that like button down below as well. Leave a comment if you so desire. And for my next video, it might be a little smaller of a build, but I'll have just as much fun reviewing it, and I'll make sure to get even the next video out of that faster. Thank you for watching. Bye.